What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Monty Python. And we're back with one I hadn't listened to in a long time, and I think maybe part of that is because it's quite long. It's almost 7 minutes long, which, even in regard to their songs, never mind the majority of their skits, that's longer than most of their other performances. But I don't know, for whatever reason, this is on the end of the first disc of the final ripoff, which, as I mentioned before, is sort of like a 2-disc compilation they did right as the group was ending. And yes, it's called Election Special, and as I said, I hadn't listened to it for a long time. I had it on in my car earlier, and I was howling with laughter. I was dying. There were a lot of parts I didn't remember, and even the parts that I did were funnier than I recalled. And I think, I might be wrong about this, it might be intentional for the skit, but it's certainly done in front of a live audience, and just the way that John Cleese reacts at this one part, it's like he's almost breaking character, he's almost cracking up, even though I don't think that was the idea beforehand. And it sounds like it's at least in part because of some physical action, something that one of the other performers is doing, although I don't recognize the voice of the person who seemingly makes him crack up. He's sort of singing in the moment when it happens, and it's not clearly Idol, it's not clearly Palin, it doesn't sound like Terry Jones. I guess maybe it's Gilliam, but I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm not quite certain about the context in which this happens, but I do think that we hear John Cleese almost break character. So yeah, with no further ado, let's listen to it. This is Monty Python. The skit is Election Special, and as I said, I think this is done live in front of a studio audience.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Election Night Special. There's tremendous excitement here at the moment as we should be getting the first results through any moment now. We're not quite sure where it'll be from. It might be from Leicester or from West Byfleet. The polling's been quite heavy in both areas. Oh, and I'm just getting a buzzing noise in my left ear. And now let's go straight over to Leicester.
And it's a straight fight here at Leicester, and we're expecting the result any moment now. There with the returning officer is Arthur Smith, the sensible candidate, and next to him is Jethro Q. Walrus Titty, the silly candidate with his agent and his silly wife.
Here is the result for Leicester. Arthur J. Smith,
Sensible party.
30,612. Jethro Q. Bonwacket Buzzard Stubble and Boot Walrus Titty,
Silly party.
33,108.
Well, there you have it, the first result of the election now. The silly party have held Leicester Norman.
Well, pretty much as I predicted, except that the silly party won. I think this is largely due to the number of votes cast. Gerald?
Well, there's a big swing here to the silly party, but how big a swing, I'm not going to tell you.
I think one should point out here that in this constituency, since the last election, a lot of very silly people have moved into new housing estates, with the result that a lot of sensible voters have moved further down the road, the other side of number 29.
Well, I can't add anything to that. Colin?
Can I just say this is the first time I've been on television?
No, I'm sorry, there isn't time. We're just going straight over to Luton.
Well, here at Luton, it's a three-cornered contest between, from left to right, Alan Jones, sensible party, Tarquin Fintim Limbim Bim 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 Bus Stop for Tang Ole Biscuit Barrel, silly party, and Kevin Phillips Bong, who is running on the slightly silly ticket. And here's the result.
Alan Jones,
Sensible.
9,112. Kevin Phillips Bong,
Slightly silly.
Naught. Tarquin Fintin Limbim Wimbim Limbim Bus Stop for Tang Ole Biscuit Barrel.
Silly.
12,441.
Well, there you have it, the first result of the election there as the silly party take Luton Norman.
Well, this is a very significant result. Luton, normally a very sensible constituency, with a high proportion of people who aren't a bit silly, has gone completely gaga.
And we just heard that James Gilbert has with him the winning silly candidate at Luton.
Tarquin, are you pleased with this result?
Oh, yes, me old beauty, I should say so.
Do we have the swing at Luton?
No.
Right, well, I can't add anything to that, Colin.
Can I just say that this is the second time I've been on television?
No, I'm sorry, there isn't time. We're just about to get another result.
And this one is from Harpenden South East. A very interesting constituency, this. In addition to the official silly candidate, there is an unofficial very silly candidate in the slab of concrete. And he could well split the silly vote here at Harpenden South East.
This is Elsie.
Silly.
26,317. Jeanette Walker.
Sensible.
26,318.
Very close.
Malcolm, Peter, Brian, Telescope, Adrian, Blackpool, Rock, Stoat, Gobbler, John, Raw, Vegetable, Norman, Michael, Edward, Jupiter, Thomas, Moo, will give a welcome in. William, raindrops keep falling on my... Don't sleep in the subway. Smith.
Very silly.
2.
Well, there you have it, a sensible game there at Harpenden with the silly vote being split.
And we've just heard from Luton that Tony Stratton-Smith has with him there the unsuccessful, slightly silly candidate, Kevin Phillips Bong.
Kevin Phillips Bong. You polled no votes at all. Not a sausage. Bugger all. Are you at all disappointed with this performance?
Not at all. As I always say, climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every byway, till you find your dream. A dream that will last. All the love you can give.
Listen for Cleese.
Every day of your life, for as long as you live. All together now. Climb every mountain, ford every stream.
A very brave Kevin Phillips Bong there.
Maybe that's Idol.
And,
Oh, shut up.
Maybe it's
can I
Idol.
just say, I've just heard from Luton that my aunt is ill. Possibly gastroenteritis, possibly just catarrh. Gerald.
Right, Colin?
Can I just say he'll never appear on television again?
No time, there isn't time, because we have to bring up a few results you may have missed. A little pink pussycat has taken Barrow in Furness. That's a game from the Liberals there. Rastus Oginga has taken Wolverhampton South West. That's Enoch Powell's old constituency. An important gain there for Darky Power. Arthur Negus has held Bristol. That's not a result, that's just a bit of gossip. Sir Alec Douglas Hume has taken Oldham for the Stone Dead Party. And a small piece of putty about that big, a cheese mechanic from Dunbar, and 2 frogs, one called Kipper and the other one not, have all gone in Blackpool Central, and so it's beginning to look like a silly landslide with the prospect of 5 more years of silly government facing us. Oh, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm bored.
He's right, you know, it is a bloody waste of time.
Absolute waste. Is that what you wanted to be, a gynecologist?
I never wanted to do this for a living.
You know what that's leading into.
I
wanted to be a lumberjack. Yeah, I think that leads right into the lumberjack song, which surely gets a loud ovation. You know, there's certain things, certain skits and songs that Python would do in some of those live shows or performances where the crowd, the moment they get a hint what's coming next, they go crazy. The Dead Parrot sketch being a good example, and indeed the lumberjack song as well. But yeah, like I said, when I listened to that earlier, I was dying. And I think I may be wrong. I think that was perhaps Idol instead of Cleese. I mean, again, they're both playing the commentators along with Palin. I do love how Idol's character keeps like, can I just say this is my first time? Nope, sorry, there isn't time. He tries a second time, like, nope, sorry, there isn't time. And like the opening where Cleese is like, oh, I'm getting something right now, I'm getting something where, you know, you think he's being relayed election results, but like, no, it's just the buzzing in my ear, and he clearly like stamps on the earpiece. And then the silly party winning over the sensible party in most of the results, and the slightly silly candidate, then the very silly, like, independent or unofficial candidate. And obviously some of the names, my favorite was the there's something like a phonetic rhyme, and then it goes into like fatang fatang all a biscuit barrel or whatever. I think that's my favorite one. And then the one that goes for like 20 seconds and features multiple songs and then ends with a hyphenated Smith. I enjoy that as well. So the whole thing is just like a cascading series of ridiculous moments. And for me, the part that really killed me was hearing one of them. Again, I thought it was Cleese, maybe it's Idol, cracking up. But I do wonder who that is singing the, like, you know, Live Every Dream or whatever it is, the song that essentially puts him off. And I think something about the way he's trying to get the crowd to sing along, and maybe something physical he's doing, I think that's what breaks one of the commentators. So, yeah, I like, you know, whether it's newscasters or people working on a sitcom or whatever, I really enjoy bloopers because there's a lot of humanity in a blooper. Like, you see the moment where they're like, oh, nope, like, I can't, I know I'm supposed to be saying this line, but that's just really funny and I can't keep it in. So it's a funny moment, even though in the end he gets through it and the skit continues. But yeah, I just love the insane absurdity and the idea that, like, you know, we're interviewing, oh, you know, the candidate that lost in Loon, so you got no votes, not a single sausage, like, just complete F all, you know. I just love the back and forth. It's like a real election night special, but with, you know, Monty Python's insanity. So, yeah, a very funny one that, like, again, it was on Final Ripoff, and I had Final Ripoff from the time I was a teenager. But for whatever reason, I just must have not listened to it as many times as the Bookshop sketch or The Undertaker and so on, where I heard them, you know, dozens, scores of times. So when I went to do the reaction for those, it's like I'm thinking of every line in advance. Whereas when I heard this one earlier, it was very fresh. And even hearing it now, you know, I didn't remember the exact sequence. So, yeah, a very funny one. I do wonder whether that was taken from a live show or whether it was shooting the Flying Circus episode, but they did it in front of a live audience, which some of them they would do. And I think I mentioned before, like, The Undertaker's a good example. In the recording on Final Ripoff, The Undertaker, it's just done, like, them in a studio, like, you know, there's no audience. But I've seen that performed where there's a live audience and they become increasingly incensed at the, what's the right word, inappropriate nature of the sketch, where you're like, oh, you're talking about eating my mom, and you can hear them start to boo, and they eventually, like, chase the Monty Python performers or, you know, comedians off the stage, and then it rolls credits. So, yeah, ultimately, I think this is a great one. Let me know if you are familiar with it. Let me know if you're enjoying these Monty Python reactions, and Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.